Hey y'all, I am Hope here at Crafty Hope and welcome. We are jumping right into this snippet roll creation on this is day 23. I've got a real-time introduction that I forgot to do and tell y'all kind of what was going on here in case you are unsure. I will direct you to day 1 of the snippet roll, but there's also a full playlist because this is part of my 100-day project, which is my Not Precious project, in which I'm using things that for some reason or another I had deemed too precious to use and using them. So like I said, there's a full playlist for that, but this is portion 3 of this snippet roll project. So I think there'll be at least one more after that, if not more, because this one in itself is pretty long. This was 4 days of mark making on this roll during a pretty crazy week. So I'm gonna break off here and give y'all a bit of that introduction and then hop back in and talk you through a little bit more of this. Hey, so it's day 23 and I'm going to continue to work on this snippet roll, possibly do a little bit of what I did yesterday, which is after I complete a section, roll it up. So I'm going to continue editing these sections. Maybe I'd like to try to ignore somehow the lines that I put between them. If I can even find it. So like work this much at a time so that I'm overlapping things. We'll see. I don't want to add a whole lot more bulk at the moment, just some more marks and things like that. So I'm going to stamp. I've got my hand carved stamps out here. I might go pull out some texture stamps as well. And then I've got Ace Stays On and the Distress Inks and Oxides all in neutral colors because I'm still trying to just keep it fairly neutral as possible. I mean, there is like a blue in here and there's definitely like yellows and greens as well, but for the most part, I want to stick it neutral. So, yeah, I may go grab a couple other texture-y type stamps and add those in as well, but we'll see. I might, work with a few of these and then switch it out. Because I do want to work in sections, I might start adding like some inks and things like that, as well as maybe some mark making somehow. I haven't decided how. The cats are fighting in the other room. Oh, because of course they are. Alright guys, I will, let y'all kind of see what I'm doing. Okay, so that was a little bit about what I'm trying to accomplish with this and basically just keep it fairly neutral. I will break that rule here in a little while, and between each of these days I do a pretty quick 30-40 second introduction. But this video ends up being very long because it is 4 days of this mark making using all different kinds of media. So as you saw, I started with my hand carved stamps and the distressed inks and oxides, and here I've brought in some coffee and I'm doing my chunky pencil, some scribbles, and then I have a that looks like a Uniball Signo gold gel pen. I love that pen. Just some marks, y'all, and adding instant coffee. That is instant coffee that dries up and I reconstitute it with water. And now I'm rolling that back up. Well, not back up. I am rolling it up, kind of fixing anything that's popping off from my collage or the washi tape. And I do that. Some of that I do off camera because there's some of those little dots, those vellum dots I told y'all that kept popping off. They were not my friend. So there's lots of this in here. Y'all don't need to see all that, but I wanted you to see I'm rolling it up just to kind of contain it while I work on another section. And I mentioned that I wanted to work over where I had taped these lines. So I don't want these to feel like separate pieces. I want this to be like a continuous roll that has a lot of different things in it. So I'm trying to make sure that as I work, I'm going over the top of where I like washi these pieces of paper together. For most part, throughout this roll, I start with my stamping. Here, instead of using my hand carved stamps, I'm using some like mounted stamps that I have. At other parts, I'm going to bring in like clear cling stamps. But for the most part, I'm using a lot of these same walnut ink, tea dye, black soot, and stays on colors. I might bring in the rusty hinge just because you can see there's like rusty bits in there. More washi there. Something was probably popping up or whatever. I've got my Stabilo all pencil because of course I do. What mixed media project is complete without a little bit of Stabilo all pencil? Yeah, so I'm going to play a little bit of music, and I'll pop back in for day 24 here in just a second.
24, I already got started on this and completely forgot to mention. Day 24, I'm going to do another section. I've got a timer going because I don't want to do it real long, and I've pulled out paint. I was planning on just doing more stamping and mark making and splatter like I did yesterday, but something has me wanting to pull out the sea glass paint, so I have. We're going to see what happens. Yeah, like I said, just going to do a little bit today, and we'll see.
Okay, it is future me again. Now I did, like I said, pull out the paint, which I totally had intended to do with this, and it's color. It's not a neutral, but to me the sea glass is almost a neutral. I feel like there's blue and everything. I don't know. Like, it's a calming neutral color for me. I'm not painting anything specific. You can see here just marks, little dashes and dots, and at some point I'll use my finger, and here is some of my favorite gold ink that I've put there. But first I'll do some scribbles with Liquitex, and I'm pretty much using a lot of the same methods I used in the previous day. Now I don't want to talk you through this entire process. I mean, I could, but because this video is sped up so much, I feel like I need to rush to tell you all of those things. So if it is something you're interested in and having me talk this through a little bit slower, let me know. Ask me what it is, you know. But I have to tell you, all of this to me is background. The snippet roll in itself is intended to it's not going to be the focal of something. It's all intended for background texture, or to be a backer on something, or to add it in. So, and this is my first snippet roll I've ever made. So if you've got certain ways you use yours, do you just display them? Do you use them in your art? How do you use them? How do you make them? I mean, please let me know, because I'm still learning with this. I will admit I have already, when I'm recording this, we're coming to the end of the 100-day project, and I've used this snippet roll twice. So I'm pretty thrilled with that. So, all right, guys. Again, I'm going to play some music until we get to day 25, and we'll see what happens there.
Alright y'all, it's day 25 and we're gonna have some more of the same. So, I know, boring, but it's how my days are going. This is a really crazy week for me. So, yeah, this meditative process is really kind of doing me some good. So, I hope you're enjoying it. I've pulled out some more of my hand-carved stamps here. And I've got those same Distress ink, Distress oxide, and stays on pads that I have been using for the duration. So, I'm going to keep at it. Here we go.
Like I said, it is a lot more of the same. I will pull in, you can see there's a little bit of like a yellow paint up there, and that's a parchment colored paint, I believe. So it's still fairly neutral. It's not like a bright yellow or anything. And it kind of brings in some of these other colors I've got going on in here. And you can see with some of these hand carved stamps, especially with the Distress oxides and inks, because those inks are water soluble, I love to bleed the edges a little bit, blend them into the papers. That's just, I enjoy the process of doing it. I like how it looks. And so, yeah, I fully believe that's my style. And I want that represented here in my snippet roll. If you make a snippet roll and, you know, something like that isn't your style, you'd rather have something that's more permanent, like the stays on that I'll be adding right here, then, you know, you wouldn't have to do that. But I think that's kind of the point for me with the snippet roll, is to have bits of collage I can add, that the collage and all of that is already done, but it feels very much like my style. So yeah, there I'm adding that parchment colored paint, and you can see I made marks basically with it. And so I'm doing some of the things that feel right to me, scribbles with the pencil, going around some of those shapes, making weird little marks with the Stabilo. I love these like spirals, have always been a shape I really enjoy. So I'm going to do that. I'm going to continue on this, and then we will go to day 26. And I think that's the last part of this snippet roll. So let's get to that. I'm going to let you see this portion first.
is day 26 of 100-day project, and I think I'm trying to see how much more of this is left. I don't think it's much. It's a little bit more than I thought, but there's not much. I just have to do here to the end, which is only a couple more strips. So I think I'm going to work on that, finish that up, and yeah. So more stamping, more mark making, fun stuff. Let me do it.
On this last day of my mark making section of this snippet roll, it hits me that I can use rub-ons, and I don't know what made me think of it or why I'd neglected to think of it previously, but like I said, for me the mark making was about getting a lot of texture without adding much more bulk, because I knew that my last step coming up in my next snippet roll video will be adding a lot of things that have more bulk to them. And I don't know, at some point it hits me, oh my gosh, use rub-ons. They are thin, they don't weigh a thing, they add so much interest. So I'll be pulling a zippered pouch I have of those out in a little bit. And it really does. This last section I absolutely love. So I kind of love that it's the end of this roll, that I have to work my way to this like grand finale of it or something. So I'm doing a lot more of the same things, stamping and pulling out things. There they are. That's a Tim Holtz rub-on that, yeah. And you can see when I use rub-ons, I tend to cut out the sections I want and then put them down and rub it on. So yeah, that's what's going to happen here. All right, guys, I'm going to finish up this part of the roll and give you a couple of looks at it. If you saw, I think, my first part of the roll, you'll hear that I mentioned that I forgot to take pictures of this process other than some of what I posted on Instagram, and I wasn't real good with that because I did a lot of reels for the reveals on Instagram, so it's not a whole lot of pictures. I'm going to give you looks at some of this, and hopefully this long video has been enough to give you an idea of how we work through this. But if you do have any questions, please don't hesitate to ask away down there in the comments section, and I am more than happy to help and inspire you some more. All right, guys, thank you so much for watching, and I will see you later. I've got other stuff coming up, but definitely part 4 of this snippet roll series, which will hopefully finish it up, but it's a lengthy one too. So let me know if you would rather have that split into smaller portions, shorter videos, so I don't have to speed it up so much, because this one is 4 times regular speed and it's still 27 minutes, almost 30 minutes long. It started out as a 2-hour long video, so yeah, because I gave myself 30 minutes to do each of these sections, so that makes sense, I think. Yep. Alright, guys, thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in the next video. Thank y'all. Bye.